Anyway, coming up after the break, they say a cat has 9 lives. Well, there's a man I'm going to speak to. He'd give them a run for their money. When you hear his story, you think, how come he's still here? My next guest obviously doesn't believe in the adage of 3 strikes and you're out. He's had about 3 strikes and he's still in, very much so. His name is Anjelo Ratnachandra, and I have him on the line now. Mr. Ratnachandra, good afternoon.
Hello, Derryn. How are you?
Well, I'm well. Let's go back. You have three biggies you've had. Let's go back. Was the first one the collapsed lung? Was that the first one?
Yeah, that's right. That was a collapsed lung. I just woke up one day, had a collapsed lung, didn't take much notice, and went to work for a few days and flew to Budapest for a weekend away while I was in London. Didn't really think much of it, and then all of a sudden found myself in a lot of trouble.
Well, if you're flying with a collapsed lung, you're getting in a lot of trouble. We just talked about people dying on planes. What happened? You ended up in the hospital in Budapest.
Oh, yeah. No, I managed to get myself back to London. I ended up 5 weeks in hospital and had to have life-saving lung surgery. Yep.
Okay, that's number one. Now, number two, talk me about you had a Molotov cocktail thrown at you. How did that come about?
Oh, look, it was the irony of ironies, mate. Look, I was specialising as a physio in pain management at the time. I was just sitting at home, and would you believe it, on a Friday night in London, and I just minding my own business. Next thing I knew, my front window was smashed, and someone was standing over it, throwing a petrol bomb at my head, and I sort of ducked to avoid it, hit the back wall, and I got showered in petrol.
Did you get burned?
Yeah, so I got shot in petrol, and you know, it's like the movies. You know, it's a moment of silence, and everything stands still. And next thing you're alight, both my arms were on fire, and side of my face. So I thought about stop, drop, and roll, but there was no room. So I sort of ducked and scattered over to the shower and got myself under the cold water and told my housemates to get out. The house was on fire. So
now, Ratnachandra is not exactly a common name. How did you get? How was it a mistaken identity?
Well, mate, they were meant to get 2 doors down, supposedly, and look, in fairness, it was probably good that they didn't get the right house. At the time, there was a 8-year-old girl and her mum in the living room, so it wasn't even the intended victim. So they got the wrong blue door, basically.
Okay. Now, the third one was only last year, and this is when you had surgery for cancer. What was that?
It was a leiomyosarcoma. It was a growth in my calf, and you know, there was absolutely no symptoms. I got it checked, and they just said it was a benign tumour, and I said, oh no, look, take it out anyway. And when they took it out, they found that it was a very rare cancer. I think the chance of geting it is less than 1%.
So was it benign or malignant when they got it out?
Yeah, well, it was definitely a cancer, and there was chance of spreading it, but they were able to. They said they weren't sure whether chemo or radiation will help it, so they decided to operate and do a couple of surgeries to get it all out. So now I'm just in monitoring. I'm grateful. So
I imagine you are. Now, I saw a quote from your wife saying that you're a chronic pain sufferer. Now, is this what you got a book coming out called Beyond Pain? Is this where it all comes about?
Yeah, so, I mean, I specialise in pain, and that's the irony, like, I specialise in pain management, looking at self-management strategies to help people come off medication and really get back on their feet and look at what their goals and what they want to achieve. So, yeah, unfortunately, with the collapsed lung and the burns and the cancer, I ended up with chronic pain myself. So, I've just been using the strategies that I taught at the clinics, and I've put together it in a book, in a self-help book, and just to give people that hope and inspiration to, you know, manage it themselves and show that there is a way, and not to give up.